You are listening to Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. Let's jump into the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. For the day, we are down 0.21%, so just a little bit. But for the week, you can see it is a nice, strong week. Actually, larger candle than the 3 prior weeks, reaching a considerably higher high. Things going up nicely. Last week, lots of volume there, but in that spinning top, could have been a topper there. Was not. This week just sort of supercharged and it popped up again, which is beautiful. We can see on the 2-day chart things slacking off a little bit first day of this latest 2-day candle. But again, Bitcoin just keeps on a climbing, and that is gorgeous. Look at Ethereum. Only look at Ethereum once a week. And again, we're looking at the 24-hour day Ethereum chart. And we see Ethereum sort of, we've got 2 dojis pretty much here. The week beginning the 18th of December and the other the 1st of January. Remember, these are 24-hour-a-day charts for Ethereum, just like with Bitcoin. Not our typical Bitcoin chart where we're tracking the ETF. And of course, we see that Ethereum, particularly this week, now it's got, the last few weeks, it's been having down movements on its candles. We can see these candles as things are really moving up strongly. Little bitty down wick on this one, but all these others, things were just really flying up. So we see a lot of volatility here. Things really spiked up. Look at that high of $2,644 from the time that Ethereum turned around and really started moving up strongly. We see the high that first week, 1865, again up to a high of 2644. So again, Ethereum still moving in the right direction too. Decent volume already average. Again, we're just at Wednesday as I record this for you. So interesting to watch as things just continue to rally. Now we look at the Bitwise 10 Crypto Index Fund. We're back to an ETF with market hours. And what do we see going on here? Well, we saw, where it really popped up to that prior high back on the week beginning the 4th of December. Lots of volume. Then, of course, the next week, a spinning top with lots of volume, perhaps portending a move down. The next week, another doji moving down that way with decent volume. And then things moved back over and started going up. Look at all the volume this week. And again, that prior high that we saw was 2509. And of course, this week, 2620. So again, remember, this is heavily weighted toward Bitcoin because it is the big dog here. It's weighted as per volume, top 10 cryptocurrencies. So both Bitcoin and Ethereum moving up, and that is, of course, driving up this ETF. Now, we're going to leave cryptocurrencies. We're going to take a look at some of the commodities that we've been charting. Of course, sugarcane going down for a while. Saw things flatten out last week, trying to get a little up move there. Not a whole lot happening, but perhaps it has bottomed. Copper, for many weeks moving up. Last week we saw it break through the trend line and then moving back down. Now, we had really decent volume as we had this spinning top here. We didn't have it triggered, though, by decent volume at that high. So it wasn't anything we were really interested in jumping into. We did not have our volume match a top. And then we had high volume as things started to roll over. But, of course, that's not what we're looking for. We want volume to back up the searching for the high or low. And then we want things to turn around on high volume. We look at where things are on silver. I wanted to show this to you. When we look at, say, gold, which we track for you every day, we see how it has bounced off that prior, what we found to be a ceiling going all the way back to May of last year, popping up, hitting around that back on the 27th of November, the week beginning then again the week beginning the 18th, then pierced it as far as the wick goes, but again, candle stopped there and then moved back over. But silver, really accelerating down, going into that second week. But again, trying to find the topper. We saw it top here with higher than average volume. Then we had a red spinning top. Then we had a big down week, and then a week trying to move up, then a questionable week, and then these 2 weeks. As we sort of tie that all together, again, it does, in hindsight, match what we're looking for, but hard to see with the green candles and the sideways slide here, but then rolling back over. So again, following in that pattern, found its high, and then stopped and started the rollover move, which may be accelerating. We'll continue to keep an eye on silver. Soybeans, they've been going down for a while. We see soybeans just continuing to actually accelerate in that down move. And we look at natural gas. Looks like it bottomed out here. And then, again, didn't have a green candle accelerating the upgrowth. It sort of, tried to see where it would go there. Then some indecision that following week with lower volume. But then last week, the volume really kicked up. We saw a green candle pop up. And this week, even higher. Although for the day, down over 5%. So some real volatility there. Now, lastly, we'll go to our currencies. I love these currencies following them. We'll start off with a smaller one, the Australian dollar, which had been going up for weeks and weeks. I would ask you to compare the Australian dollar with what you see in an Australian index ETF. Typically, you guys, if you pay attention, you can see how many times what's happening with the currency can track what's happening with the country ETF. There are ETFs that track all sorts of countries, particularly the big ones. But Australia, look at it. We saw where things had really peaked up high and then moved over. And look at the acceleration this week in the volume in the Australian dollar heading down. Wow. I mean, that is just loads higher than it has been forever. I mean, going back, way back. So very interesting what's happening in Australia. Now let's look at the Canadian dollar. Same kind of thing. Peaked up 2 weeks ago at the end of the year, and then starting the year off very weak. But again, not the kind of volume that, boy, you see with the Aussie dollar. That's crazy. Now we look at what's going on with the euro. It also peaked at the end of the year. Down last week, breaking through that prior trend line this week, a doji. But again, not lots of volume there. Lastly, we will look at the Japanese yen. Same kind of thing, peaked at the end of the year. And again, we can see decent volume there, hit that high, and then we have decent volume with the spinning top. No surprise that this week we see it heading down. That is where we are, folks. Hope you always enjoy taking a look at cryptocurrencies on the 24-hour-a-day chart, getting a look at both the Bitwise ETF that tracks the top 10 cryptocurrencies as an index weighted as per market share, and also that you enjoy taking a look once a week at Ethereum, and then, of course, getting into the commodities that we like to jump into, everywhere from sugarcane to copper, silver, soybeans, natural gas, wheat, you name it, corn. We got all sorts of stuff that's interesting to look at. And then, of course, lastly, getting into world currencies. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.